Yes, so gentlemen, the amount forces will be a transfer stories, you know. Latest ones, and your mom, acquisition sign, or more, ya sign ni omwa still, omugusu eka honsem. Say, yeah.
Oh,
Okay, young way.
well, I'm starting from the last message I would see, and obviously, almost Liverpool for there. Still, I know, almost person almost signing a branch here, your friend Alexander Isaac. And one now will some Isaac and one say,
Yeah.
Well, share preseason now, and I match on my boy, and I one who say, would you know, na situation it to say, a man be back, say, or the accompanying for him send a hundred donor cacra. In Tina went to me and see a kind of but said you. And no pay a story of Newcastle United as Urban they say Newcastle United for Air Singapore. Na enra number 6 p.m. And a coach a friend Eddie Howe, coach our coach Newcastle United. Any a branch any year meeting. Now on any year meeting no na branch no echirima onye mentally stable. So for flight and omako. Newcastle Air bomb match against Arsenal on Sunday. And after that, omune South Korea all-star team bebo. Omu we are no omune Tottenham Hotspur team so akobo. And Sergio so okay TV so the traveling squad for Newcastle United on the that TV so ya omode kwa kopi mu Asia. Oshe Anthony Gordon, Oshe Sandro Tonelli, Oshe Bruno Gomes, Oshe Joe Linton. Omo and the TV so omo the face of the squad that omode ye trip no to Asia. Alexander Isaac and me and Kwanko Pimubi or Chireboa onye mentally stable to travel. Issues about the injuries, no doctors na ashe nimpum aye all the tests, but the reality is that you know or you cleared in terms of fitness or you fit, but on one they decided say mentally onye stable to travel with the Newcastle United team or they kwako pim ewo Asia no na fully speculation. Say near Saturday and let us Abranton Liverpool come on the swim. Na se jo uramu Liverpool so aso ya. Enye so omanya who go a ticket into omajayo. Endo na who go a ticket koko duru ye. Se jo ono so akwa join the team na. O hwe kwan an slot fast so walk am no a. We o koduru ye na ote akodam e wo the training sessions ono. E na se jo ote wa wakwa akoduru. Liverpool fo nwie again on san lande ya. Orlando or Hong Kong no nyanko training grounds no eno wo TV so a o hwe e wo Kessben TV e wo ho genoa na no na speculation it
man for say new players no more touches kakra yes or the midfielder the passes and touches or a striker be a goals or a defender ana man for so mu more touches and kakra
yeah eti Sergio Abranti a o TV so wakwa akolande na Liverpool for no chirima enye so obanya Abranti we nkonto ba relax no Alexander Isaac dey still Sergio Liverpool for sisika no more spending or market no more spending we into almost sign ko na o san akwa for Isaac e dey aba na mnim say Isaac Liverpool atwe omo because na mnim say attention bi beba e be free Asia momu na aba nanka atimi ababe twe no edede ko Asia and that's a Saudi Pro League in Basejo utie nkomo na Liverpool are still ready to spend in their market and Omaya ready say Premier League they want to defend it, and if you really want to defend it you need squad depth, you need quality, you need players that options in attack, and they think that Alexander Isaac is available. And Sergio, Liverpool for the baby beko no makwa Newcastle should be careful because Sergio okay the attitude now what I see show now it looks likely he will leave, but enyema because Champions League and omo pese omo kosi mu akan enti senka Isaac etna for their Champions League dream. I think senka betimi aboa Newcastle United, but Sergio sika ene bema Liverpool ho na bio transfers no be pre wo mo ho na Sergio Bayern Munich fo awuram e wo ho on the issue of Luis Diaz a Colombia ni Abrantian na no ye beka say Abrantian de waka say ono ofri boboku ni mako de obi abeka bia o se wontie kwa na oko na Bayern for so omo na be push for that particular deal na wo hwe deal na ye 80 million euros any sika Liverpool for eje but Sergio Bayern Munich for se yanka mo obi ante say Abrantian wanyini omo gitum so onimbo Omo team so one of the best on the position no. But again, sika omo ready so omo best spend o brand e no. Luis Diaz no. 70 million euros. And no sika omo ready so omo betua e di afa Colombia ni abrante. Say do menya sure say emu wa bebrebe. 70 80 there. Dia kan ye nkomo. So omo timi di omo nkomo ye with these add-ons and then other bonuses I think say abrante no betimi akọ because 70 million no say Liverpool the come marketer omo betimi anya a quality player onu to betimi aba be team nim ama ne matimi akọ ye nti Luis Diaz latest on Liverpool they say Bayern Munich for say 70 million euros enu ni sika omo de ba be pim e wo Liverpool e de aba be fa abrante a ye fe Luis Diaz. Manchester United aye call akọ piem e wo Aston Villa. Na eno American say Sesko any Oli Watkins. Again, Aston Villa farm almost stands are so clear. Omo ready so omo beton Oli Watkins. Ruben Amorim still are options available for able boku your friend Manchester United. Na say Joe, Aston Villa for Eddie 60 million pounds. And unisika say almost say omo ehia for Abrantia your friend Oli Watkins. And say Joe, I think so United boku num meaning say almost sika na da hokwa no e sika omo use about 100 million omo di ka use dada sika na aka ne no so they need to sell those players and say no matimi agade sika e di akwa player but so Oli Watkins at 60 million pounds e tiesa so odi nkomo kra yi a say do Oli Watkins betimi about 55 or 50 and for me who check the transfer market na say Oli Watkins 60 or 50 you are good to go. Your attack no you're sorted because already in terms of the forward lines, you know, Man United are Atimias and making sure say left or right, you know, or must sort it. They can hear the personality up front, the player to bang in the goals, player no the goals in the bebano, and as I say Obieshe, so obetimi aye Sesko, and as obetimi aye Oli Watkins. And no me beka say Benjamin Sesko so team aye friend Leipzig or Mati Omusika so. Omo ka say 100 say omo dey about 70 omo dey about 60 into Man United it was 60 million in the market as a Joe. It is either Sesko or Oli Watkins, but for now there Oli Watkins no ma ye call ako Aston Villa omo ready say omo betimi no ma twetwe nkomo na brante na ba aba begina enimu ho e de amomo Alejandro Garnacho one player after the game was Sam Mames the Europa League finals. And then Krane Koba say, coach your friend Ruben Amorim na catch and so on copy team. Almost started preseason, he's still part of the team. But again, still coach na manaya aware say on your part of his plans. Inti Abranti anonso said you Napoli buy. Emma Napoli sika omo de tone so Aurelio De Laurentiis beka said that be Garnacho onye player also the 70 million euros be fan because onye player obema 20 goals a season. Eche yete so no ani krom ni Diego Pablo Simeone epeso obefa ne ba but enkre ba no echire ba Abrantie sejo ose opetima esi aka wo EPL nim enu ni tima why ready so obesi aka diam onye na de so opeso ko Spain and also opeso ko Italy he still want to stay in the Premier League. Chelsea dan common aya na ni din abam but it's just unfortunate for him. O share the attention at Chelsea dem other players now. Abrantie fen Alejandro Garnacho de no said you need any nyani. It is a see idea. He's still training with the team but onyanya deal bia obetimi and move on. And chai and the team fen Galatasaray ekopie mu Barcelona. So omo kope Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Omo ko ter Stegen so onko he's ready to stay. Echire omo ba be pie mu ewo team a your friend Manchester City. Eti ekoba say ohwe Edison Morales ne modebo aba fem kakra na enka Manchester City beton because ohwe the FIFA Club World Cup performance now check performance of the bar last year eniema anko ye bebrebe am farm no into Manchester City beton but say jo enkra everybody say no Galatasaray for a coach omode ne be replace Fernando Mozzarella because wonyini eti being a second goalkeeper no or but 38 or they got 39 years. He's been with the team for all these years since 2010 World Cup. Into what Obo could him to pay a new goalkeeper. But said you Manchester City in crave free or ever the team. Pep Guardiola near ready. So Beton Abrantia, your friend Edison, CCA ama brantia no so etimi akonti. Ederson Moraes will still be with Manchester City season year babe remu na ono Otega sa chada eti said the previous seasons no omo ye nanti Ederson se see die se deal bi ama huhu bi a alternative my friend Manchester City said you must have Man City but men ko Chelsea kakra Chelsea se see two players na omo pe omo e di aba be ka team no ho one omo pa branch friend Joel Halto abranche na osi akan de ma ayas no omo pe no and almost a pet Javi Simons. Eti Joel Hato, a left-sided centre back, and then Otimisa Abo as left back. Number 3, Otimisa Abo number 5 now. Levico and Airborne. Relatively a young player. Or no any that TV issue on your screen. Said you on any player Chelsea for pushes set on Bodine Beba. And Commander Quechi, personal terms agreed. Chelsea Nakasa Drechama Branch and Atlas here. Chelsea players are motono. So actually I won't say, but the reality is that said you omonye ready to best spend this account on players almost 25, 26, 27 echo. Until you bet me a kika the abeke be as so you almost central defense na almost in the comunia more mature center backer. A bebo amanyama timia koye. But so share the plan for Chelsea na omonye ready so almost best spend it on any mature player. Team they think say almost 19, 20, 21 na. Maresca betting me lay the hands on our team so now what me the team now grow going forward. Omo mpe obi obeba coach problem bia nti omo pay young players omo enam the ranks neighbor now going forward you can develop them to get to the very level here our team nim nti Joel had to do no personal terms agreed. Now Javi Simons said you omo call Leipzig aso no and a Leipzig e catch omo say omo so pekani Chukwuemeka Chelsea say that be omo you ready for any swap deal because Chukwuemeka a player or no or pursue si akandema Dortmund. Then there were other players too and almost still are there be abrantie no omo hia na omo person omo de ba because you report kra ba and no me beka wo ha say oye training na okọ announce no one I just all join the world champions again. People closer to him and so they about beka sa branch and you're poised to join team your friend Chelsea. Eti Javi Simons on your screen ono the Chelsea no person obo and common dia kwachiri 60 million euros any sika Leipzig for AJ personal terms near okay bia ya agreed and said you omo hwese abranti omo nsa beka no na wa ba beka Chelsea anymore another young player. Said you on Chelsea so once again they are not interested in going into the market for a more matured player and so ewo. Ano paya na Juve for report to where ewo Continenza omu training grounds ho. Na omu report to ye no uhu Gelson Bremer uhu Kana Yildiz uhu other players. Napoli for remo so omu pe abranti a ye friend Weston McKennie United States of America midfielder na osi academy Juve no omu se omu pe no. But say Joe, omo hwe training ni ma omo hu abrante e fe ne Douglas Lewis. Brazil di abrante na ofri Aston Villa ko ho no omo enhu no. Medical ba be ka say ni agent e fe ne Kiab Jurafshan ba England abishia Leeds oba abishia Everton oba abishia West Ham United. He is a player. I don't see why Man United for permit for that. Now you are available na United for him push for him because say Joe, the United for miss from their game no. He has that quality to save that situation in their midfield. So you abrante na anko training. Wanye permission and free obia ho ni nyina ne say wanko. Why? Because he feels say treatment Juve eden man no enye treatment a ope. Until he's leaving, he's not ready. So obesa akwa join team na akwa training bio. Juve force omo beton no, but omo be punish no answer na omo so etimi aton no ewo ho. You know Real Madrid for per bit for that. Na ena no mo de ba se Nicola Barrera ho a Enzo Fernandez di bem ho a Vintina di bem na Rodri edin ebem na wo hwe players o mo din abam ya wo hwe Enzo Fernandez he's in a happy mood na wo hwe ne holidays akwa ho a no the pictures ni bia ba beto abonten ani gia na oje na tension na aye Chelsea wo hwe Nicola Barrera ono sini yanta mela na osi na kan ho na tension ko and you ask yourself how many Italians crown a person or move to Real Madrid, probably move to the Spanish La Liga? How many of them? Kakrebi. Se Christian Panuccia. Ubu se anu Fabio Cannavaro ba akubi. untay hu say Italians ni move to Real Madrid who Antonio Cassano bakubi it is a joke few times and I would say Italians ni move to a Real Madrid and again so obipo in Tamla no ye Italian now a 17 position within the team moving to Real Madrid any option e wo mu say in the Premier League and other players as I do almost free Asia and almost free the South America ebe Europe no no dream is to play for Barcelona to play for Real Madrid but so what Italians na dream Juve AC Inter no attention ko into time of Francesco Totti so no obuye di obeye bia Real Madrid pushing no Totti decided to stay Alessandro Del Piero sees no pushing he decided to stay those time the Stadion de la Pia osi na kan Edema Juventus into Nicola Barrera said you I don't think Real Madrid your option for him again. Social Barrela's style of player, I don't think so. Or the missing piece in the midfield of Real Madrid. I'm not saying those available are better than him, but say proper control from deep midfield, not from Nicola Barrera. Or your ball career, he's a progressor. He has ability to score goals, and or you'll be in midfield, or bet me a battle with anybody in midfield. But for proper control, it is not Nicola Barrera. Enzo Fernandez the Bemau, but Chelsea are ready to release him. It is a say Real Madrid for so much attention called Rodri. So after ACL, no Rodri Gusua recover. Sergio 29 years, Manchester City, he's seen it all, he's won it all. £220,000 a week, and it's a car OJ. So watch Javi Alonso bar BPM or Real Madrid. Shane signing sana all apart from Trent Oba no my oh yeah, Master Antoine again. It is Juni Carafat and then open here Fiorentino Perez. But Javi Alonso said, "Oh, why you careful? Our predators are half in crowd. Or pay players will beat me a control homo." And it is a washer. She no chrome phone one or sign. Den Hausen Wakako Fanaba Wakofa Avaro Carreras Edinaba again. He needs Rodrigo Hernandez Cascante in midfield. Rodri the Oba. The omo pedomon sabeka so timians they fit in quadia because the profile is different from Vavadi, different from Jude Victor Bellingham, different from Olien Chomene. It is all bomb midfielder Omunsa Ebeka. But again, said you, will Real Madrid spend 100 million euros or 100 million pounds on Rodri at age 29? I doubt. Many of you Madrid for every 2 years for Abrantia or that TV suite. Inti enone enkra eba se Madrid 4% on babefano again osenya ACL and chair and Madrid 4 in recent times David Alaba Eda Militao Dani Carvajal omunyina ACL into osa kwakofa a midfielder said do game ni nyina agina so obey the brain behind the team na the fitness level no in doubt no will Madrid spend that 100 million pounds on Rodrigo? I doubt. But yenhwe say in subsequent days Real Madrid for because so pushy. There are other reports about say obo person omhwe Camavinga no omhwe Rodrigo no combine no the 40 million pounds eka ho for Rodri. But said you I doubt say Madrid be that particular day. Enra
okay
can we say Enra and Marcus Rashford said you omu ye bibia na omu yi ni timi kire na a lot of among for your opinion concerning the Rashford move to Barcelona. A lot of Barca fans be who say a positive Rashford or quality no and said you number 14 iconic you ain't cry 14 JC and Omodema Abrantia your friend Marcus Rashford. The entire J 14 JC yakase JC numbers in Pempi na among for or kwa faso geno Macabre or has who say Bruno Guamera 39 JC na enye bibia. Ne papa taxi na o twin ne number no Brazil enti na o 39 days no Marcus Rashford picking number 14. The reason for picking the number 14 they say ne idol affinity on re no ono ne favorite jersey number san ba aba so no san acha ne yewi enti no ne Marcus Rashford decided so over picking the 14 jersey a sejo or the eba be sia kan e dia mati my friend Barcelona no. Now the bad news for Rashford they say sejo Nanse omo fa 14 ya na mode bonnet to say yawa. Abranti a your friend Coutinho fa 14 no anye ye. Memphis Depay fa 14 no. Memphis Depay di untimi nka so ofeli ye. but he was not so special. Pablo Torre 14 on crowd to be any baby on an and again Joao Felix no on so be far 14 jesi said you on so no MIA mediocre performance as a yekaka as a yekaka averagely overcut he did well. These are the players that Omobaya Omobabe far the 14 jesi for FC Barcelona in recent times. Said you Omunina Baido and Koye and far more. Even Thierry Henry, the best football he played it in Arsenal, but he won the Champions League in Barcelona. But the reality is that Omo Mabefa 14 in and sending in a bar. Rashford was the platform to revive his career, or what the quality around him to revive his career. And general football can be funny. All of a sudden, Rashford is a better player than Daniel Olmo. Obiara fi Daniel Olmo, and Obiara pushing for Marcus Rashford to be a starter within the Barcelona team. The reality is that when you're a very good platformer, say, oh, yes, serious, obey him their revival in the career. Now, World Cup now, a born next year in the United States of America, no, Marcus Rashford etimi any biako. Into the ball is in a squad, a battle for a positions. Oh, Nyanefu, a Barcelona team, him, Basajo, I was so here, no. I think, say, oh, the quality to live up. Omo ombobo nano omo ni through baby in Rashford. Ningina so be here no. Now why you serious on the field of play? Goals, creativity, take-ons, shooting ability, everything Marcus Rashford ewo. Until I wish him all the best in Barcelona and I hope say bibi abetimi akoyi. 27
on quite 27 years. Who's an age in the Kitty?
Oh, Debbie. You know, 27 or more years. Rashford is serious. So, bet me about to 35 years. Into the next 8 years to show the quality now of the ban. Fortunately for him, only player will prepare.
Okay.
Into only bad injury history. Bet me I am panic progress of living up to expectation. Baby, I want so you don't know bar. Said you, Basa. Sikeni obebebe no man nenam so mo kwakofa players until they don't rush in air signing players these days. The more on kofa rush for no more per options and that is almost sometime because of injuries you know untimi rely on him bebebe again. Marcus Rashford some more options number 7 number 9 number 11 or more almost option no and at the age 27 say we serious after and go do the peak etika he is good to go until Rashford the said you and you be the Benya opportunity. So, Caneno, Obabo Barcelona. Now, what body ye or baby our bobra and son what mean your team with more babira. But unfortunately, now that he is struggling because of financial situation, Barcelona just have to accommodate him. It's just a platform for him. 27 years as a new player, so no more and any PS. Probably more experienced than some of them. Time was starting and all bono. Now be the chance because Rashford was part of the 2016 European Championship. How many of these the Kubasis, the Yus Kunde, the Pedri, how many of them are the Casa team now in 2016 when he was playing, making his debut in the European Championship? France. It's a perfect platform. We only hoping says Joe obe taking this advantage because you be an not immediate revival in the career. Lastly, on trust econ. So JJ Okocha will start everywhere. Barcelona players better than Okocha started.
On the peak, you know.
Aye. Team be no we are saying Okocha better than Team P will start. Every team in the world Okocha will start.
Yes.
At his peak, Barcelona, Rafinha, Emon 10. No, Daniel Olmo, Fermin Lopez. We will then Okocha. Oh, David. What several of me could wins. Make a number 10. And I make options in Barcelona. Rafinha, Fermin Lopez, Daniel Olmo, JJ. Oh, said you. Now the Spanish national team na Casagra or you know the 10 man or best start baby. Real Madrid, Ada Gulenom, Fedi Vavadi Munfin finish you Bellingham. JJ will start. Everywhere will start you. Everywhere JJ coach.
This JJ one lucky football man.
There be sad time no.
Na ni PS no is serious.
Sad time na ni PS no is serious. And his position at that time was a positioner typically for South American big boys. And we are number 1. Number 2, now the Premier League prefer a more auxiliary striker than a playmaker. On se do EPL no first no. Na ye 4-4-2. It is 4-4-2. Ni a show more that strikers net no. omo say nim go she nti you talk about Dennis Bergkamp and then Thierry Henry, you talk about Andy Cole and then Dwight York and say do ofo obi say Dennis Bergkamp pa the JJ be a Dennis Bergkamp enye more entertaining and provided this kind of improvisation. But Dennis Bergkamp was a player of his own class. Or saying him Bob what did that fem or JJ, you know, this skill set and the big boys were playing for the big teams those times. And said, yo, and no now JJ had the chance to play for any of the big teams out there. Sometimes no here and they were effective for Manchester United at that time. Intina Bayer they saw mobile team consider no. And until the eminent me anya those big games, big teams no enti me amono. But say you ene ho amono ho. Mbappe, Vini, Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Dembele, Vintin amono ho ne. Inti JJ at his peak, Real Madrid will chase him. Adebayo mo kra de be wi, so munya Madrid boy. Adebayo mo kra de be wi. Esi mo kra de be wi. Omunya Real Madrid boy. Inti it is not about not being lucky. But say yo, and you know football, a lot goes into it. And your coach at the end, go and what the Atlanta 96. Say yo, person who coach a year and correct Frankfurt born now you had. Go to Atlanta 96 and watch the Brazil versus Nigeria game. Yeah. That was JJ Okucha.
And France 98.
Say yo, at that time, na Ronaldo munina bought the Brazil, Rivaldo munina bought the Brazil. It was JJ. And go and watch the Nigeria team that played in 98 with Paraguay and Spain in the 1998 World Cup. Satam na Spain kra Raul, no mukra Fernando Hierro, no mukra the last of Kili Gonzalez. That team was coached by Javier Clemente. Nigeria saw more at the World Cup. And then Sunday Olise ball shot. Tin ebo ne be say. Said yo, and the 3 second Miami player ebe nye basa senkra. Wa mo na Barcelona on be benji okuta. He will start everywhere because you know the quality JJ brings to the table. Game now American in said you. Game now American in.
Okay.
Atlanta 96. Don't go there. We now Ronaldo munyina ejinam, Rivaldo munyina ejinam. It was JJ. And said you, konfu a o say yi nkonya atere konfu ma. JJ nkwa na betimi aye. JJ ni din dan nkwa na betimi ahia konfu asa yi nkonya atere konfu ma sa. Nti o JJ on your screen. Said you, na onimbo bruta. Game no sana brabotie. Eto da bi o ha u bedru pick no no mo nim bo ne bebre te se wa etomre bi so abo se naka nyame be sa na won so de ode dey ekwawie. But that is how the game is. JJ will start everywhere in my opinion.
And the market no okay
yeah, I mean it will be on say you apart from na South Americans na Andy can say you then times na Italy nko wo Francesco Totti Andy, Alessandro Del Piero, Fabrizio Ravanelli Munyamai, Bra France, share the likes of Zinedine Zidane, Robert Pire, and the likes. So you're not Portugal or the likes of Luis Figo, or your wing about me about 10, but had Rui Costa. And apart from even Bulgaria, Mubalakov Munyinawo, Hristo Stoichkov Munyinawo, and say, yo, all these were peers of JJ Okucha.
Romario Jorge Hagi.
Oh, Romario Jorge Hagi at Bassa. And say, yo, Rivaldo Munyinawo Honu. And say, yo, for me, I think that William Triste says over back. JJ will start at any team bia.
Wow.
And Emery, any team bia.
Oh, okay. Maybe so now, maybe Busao, and then I say Real Madrid, and then Barcelona. I will say 10 times. Nanka play bia was through bia. These two teams in a corner.
Yeah.
Okay, and then this you. Anna,
Play
say Isaac nominate. Think I say Kabasa ni Madrid nom. And I prayed over Fano, and it will be a way you know who be. And now you need special players now. First, now would beat me. You know who's a way there.
Oh,
or your card for Madrid and that's a Bassa. Some players need to be one.
Okay. Oh, yeah, dear, I'll be near to be still players in Nanepe. But the difference is that those times there was no FIFA financial fair play.
And a Marcus Rashford and a Bassa as a woman who play.
No,
them better be true.
You know what I say?
Yes.
But my reasons, you know. One, Satan, no FIFA financial fair play be any baby. Again, there was no 1-on-1 rule in the Spanish La Liga then. Number two, Barcelona is building their Spotify new Camp Nou. Number three, you heard the losses of Barcelona incur in the last 10 years. Barcelona in their worst times in terms of finances. And it's a joke, the year can you iska. Again, Oh, yeah, you look at the positions now, okay. Said you, Yanfa Isaac. Even Lewandowski at 35, he is still one of the best strikers in the game. Lewandowski at 35. Lewandowski were Mpra, Pechichin and Kobeje. Because he's second to Mbappe. The league log. No. And check the goal scorers in the Champions League, top scorers. He's among the top scorers in the Champions League. Until Lewandowski, he is still among the best. Go to Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal, yeah, can I say, offer the position now. He is about the best in his position in the world. He is about the best in his position in the world. Go to Rafinha. On the left side, it is arguable. But again, this season, he's about the best in his position in the world. Until again, Odi Isaac bar or Barbe to wine. I don't know. Again, you go to Real Madrid. You're still talking about Isaac. Oshe Madrid for instance. Say, Joe, the Yama Madrid they push you for free, baby, near one. Santiago Bernabeu, Nesi, on Omuntu Akamiyu. Omoko J. Bosnia over 5 billion at the news Santiago Bernabeu. Into Omuntu Akamiyu, into a cow. Again, after spending that amount of money on Jude Bellingham, for play deal. Why? Because so checking the wages of their players. I said, do so. And then Mbappe did 30 million euros a year. The other marketing aspect in my Vini want to be at 30 or 30 plus. Sikasema kwa koye issue wa Madrid. Inti said you almost sikasem how o say free wa. First no. Na said you sika Madrid betu ya for player no. Na Man City ntua. Na Chelsea ntua. And then Newcastle United team is Brazil for number 8 mu. Why? Because sika A B or Kobasa about a print Newcastle will pay. Inti sika sema babe control game ning na inti how many players love to play for Juventus? How many players love to play for AC Milan? Why? Because inti AC Milan e ba Chelsea omo pe Christian Pulisic Chelsea apam no. Omo pe Robin Loftus-Cheek Chelsea apam no. Omo pe Tammy Abraham obi amfa no yawe. But in AC Omode Kaka was about the best. When they brought Shevchenko from Dynamo Kiev, he was about the best. When they signed Cafu from Roma, he was about the best. When they signed Yapstam from Manchester United, he was a standout centre back. And he said, "You see, Kaka factor. There was game in there. And Untina, and who say all these big boys are not living up to us or are not heading to Madrid and Barcelona again. For Real Madrid team at all, said you. Oh, Mbappe, Uncle Isaac. Oh, Vini Junior, Oko Fahwine. Oh, Rodrigo, Oko Fahwine. So those guys are established. Jude Bellingham, or you're the best Bundesliga player, the best player in the Spanish La Liga. Why now, Oko for? There was a tear said, say, even the better days of Madrid and Barcelona, you will players are not average. Said you. My opinion, nada at home. Time and Barcelona, they Madrid did not so pana and Susano. They were average players. Obian to me convince me say Michel Agado was an exceptional right back. There be. Said you, maybe whom this Everton player, I've forgotten his name. There was a midfielder, Thomas Gravesen. Ebo Real Madrid. Yeah, I saw Westin Drenthe. Real Madrid. Me who Real Madrid that. Lasana the other said number 10 just for 3 seasons. How an Madrid is at a point or more ordinary players within the setup. Again, I saw Chris Oligwe in Barcelona. Said, "Do now was Samburuta." But he was playing a right back for FC Barcelona. Victor Valdes achieved. But so share the Barcelona team that we used to know. Now person will compete and can hear Victor Valdes. But Otine Moya to say ye naki penalty way. Etimi da ya chiche ya meduwe because now about be savior for FC Barcelona. And you can go and watch the 2006 UEFA Champions League final between Arsenal and Barcelona. And Sana Basa Eba be 2-1 no. Now Victor Valdes saves a 1 year from Thierry Henry no. And now the Ketua. It is a do. Madrid neighbors and was so every player want to go there and deliver. But in their system no, because smaller teams are able to afford all these players no, almost so challenging the big boys. And say do, Victor Osimhen na odi egal otu no fuso nkopeska no. Inti ni obi a na person okoje Champions League. Okay. Ni obi a na person okoje the best player in the world. Obi so how woman is car or a comfortable and is in a comfortable position.
Awa, person will become one now.
Yeah, say your sister to school no na change. Check it when Manchester United paid £33 million for the signature of Rio Ferdinand from Leeds United in 2001. Now them time no, apart from Real Madrid to some extent Juventus ni Barca mo, how many clubs can do it? But owing to how Rupert Murdoch, the ingenuity within the Premier League said is Skyba. Said you bedu maybe not Sunderland bet me at £30 million. No cost pay, no the player ba. And then Bournemouth money na to meet you huge amount of money. So said you status quo no and change. And besides, share how the influx of top players, said you especially in the 90s, it was Italy. This explains to you the reason why Italian clubs dominated Europe in the 90s. But said you after the movement of Sika every Gaddafi investment kakra every Italy no echo and the Calciopoli it had a telling effect on the Italian Serie A. Ebedu maybe not play bia on person associated with the Italian Serie A. Okay, Calciopoli ni Bayern and Lilian Thuram. Any this former Italian right fullback Zambrotta. So move free Edia Barcelona because they don't want to be associated with the brand. The status quo has changed, especially with the invasion of Premier League mania, TV rights, Abano. So now the English clubs are now challenging. Barca so you now just so compare Alaza in that Isaac said you Iska.
Yeah.
Iska. Because koya Newcastle Becca said between 120 to 150 pounds Fabra. So that's the reason why they needed to just cool down, search for a lone player like Marcus Rashford, and then get their priorities.
Say no, and yeah, and Kanina. Omuka some pen kwande away wine. Would it not for sale crowd but one Barca Madrid back befaro.
But you
and in there be at me for be a player.
Oh, you know, any players are Madrid neighbors are paying on Mosaka. 30 Madrid 4 years to mu pay bia.
A dem back when you be a bar.
Oh no, and then it is evenly distributed. Well, if you look at it from a bigger picture, I agree with you, say could be any and son and a dear but you sometimes there are certain players when they are wasting their talent or down they have to be at the top.
Yeah.
And also why should Sandro Tonelli and Bruno Guimaraes be wasting their time at Newcastle while Eduardo Camavinga is playing for Real Madrid? Inti Newcastle for any badges or more player or more pen or match and the captain Saman. Or many badges say Isaac or match and outside the captain man. But you know, Isaac should be starting for Manchester United. It was someone you for 9 or more penny sack on Mukofandene Bebo. But United are quiet. It is a joke, yeah, but openly, it is good for the game now. As I am a fair play near Juma, as I come teaching him by and will be at me compete. But for me, the big boys are for the big teams, and they should be playing for the big teams.
Okay, yeah, Barca Castle Mopeverati.
2017.
PSG Anton, but in another PSG came and snapped up Neymar dos Santos. Ebabe fan, Edekoi. But said you back in the days, NCC be a PSG pa so best sorry. I gathered that vim say Okope Barca player. But said you we've seen it. And we reach a point when Man City, the coming in of Taksin Shinawatra and the Sheikh Mansour group. Robino, Omuse Madrid name problem, said you Makwa Tamno. What did we see? We saw the rest of what was history. And you saw say Manchester City were performing, winning the Premier League, winning the Champions League, winning the Premier League for the first time in 4 years. Said you know you owing to Scarba.
All right. You know, Sikasem. Now didn't know Marcus Rashford outside and Guano Kakoyi. Umusa ina bana omudin mpabuano. Oh my God! It's that I go for us your boy. Into minimum day, but Marcus on 23. I know 23 days.
So more true. Almost watch it.
Okay, Indian go for I didn't check a can cry for Nkomo between home.